Apparently, if you're a man making less than $100,000 a year, you're unattractive. That's the bar now. Forget kindness, forget loyalty, forget being a good person who treats others with respect. Just hit that six-figure mark and the rest will magically fall into place. This idea is everywhere. You can't open social media without seeing some self proclaimed guru talking about high value men and how your salary is the sole determinant of your worth. And let's not pretend this nonsense isn't deliberate. It's a strategy preying on insecurities, especially in young men who are struggling to figure out their place in the world. But let's break this down for a second. Making $100,000 a year doesn't automatically mean you're financially responsible, stable, or even successful in any meaningful sense. Plenty of people making six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because it's not about how much you make, it's about how you manage what you have. I've seen people earning half that, building lives that are stable and fulfilling. They're fixing their own plumbing, repairing old furniture, and actually creating something tangible. They're the kind of people who can take apart a machine, figure out what's wrong, and put it back together. But nah, according to these coaches, that's irrelevant. If you're not making six figures, you're apparently not even worth a second glance. And then we've got these guys online pushing this narrative like it's gospel. They'll sell you a $500 course on how to be alpha, which usually boils down to some combination of financial tips they ripped from Google and advice on how to manipulate people. And these are the same guys who will tell you not to spend money on a date because she hasn't earned it. And let's pause there for a second. She hasn't earned it. What are you, a medieval king doling out gold coins to peasants? Spending time with someone you're interested in isn't a transaction, it's a chance to connect. If you're approaching relationships like you're running a business, maybe it's time to reevaluate why you're even dating in the first place. When I talk about the culture this creates, young men are constantly bombarded with this idea that they're only as good as their income or their ability to skip the line at a club. Think about how damaging that is. Instead of focusing on developing real skills, building healthy relationships, or pursuing things they're passionate about, they're obsessing over arbitrary milestones. It's a trap, and the people setting it are making a fortune because that's what this really is, a scam. These dating coaches and lifestyle gurus aren't successful because they've unlocked some secret to life. They're successful because they figured out how to exploit insecurity. They sell you a dream, like $100,000 Travis Boy's car, and suddenly all your problems will disappear. But here's the kicker, they're not living the lives they claim to teach you how to get. They're living off your desperation, your willingness to believe that your worth can be measured by a number. And when their advice doesn't work, when you don't magically become more attractive or confident after following their steps, they don't take responsibility. Instead, they shift the blame onto you. You didn't work hard enough. You didn't stick to the plan. You're the problem, not them. Here's a radical idea. Maybe the problem isn't how much money you make. Maybe the problem is tying your entire identity and self worth to external markers of success. If you're out here thinking, I can't be happy until I hit six figures, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because guess what? There's always going to be someone who has more money, more status, more whatever. And let's not ignore the other side of this equation. The same people pushing these ridiculous standards for men are often the same ones telling women that they're only valuable if they meet valuable, uh, equally arbitrary criteria. Um, be beautiful but not too high maintenance. Be successful but not too independent. It's a game no one can win because it's designed to make you feel inadequate. The reality is none of this matters. What matters is the kind of person you are, the relationships you build, and the life you create for yourself. You don't need to make six figures to be valuable. You don't need to drive a fancy car to be respected. You don't need to skip the line at a club to be worth someone's time. What you need is to focus on what actually matters. Build skills that make you proud of yourself. Learn to communicate effectively and treat people with kindness. Pursue hobbies and passions that make your life richer and more fulfilling. And let's be real, most of the people giving this type of advice aren't exactly role models. These are the same guys who would pick fights over the dumbest things like whether or not another man can sit at their table. What kind of high school power trip is that? If your ego is so fragile that you can't share space with someone, you're not alpha, you're insecure. Here's the bottom line. Stop listening to these people. Stop letting them dictate your self worth. They don't care about you, they care about selling you a product. And that product isn't going to make you happier or more successful, it's just going to make you bitter, resentful, and broke. You know what's attractive? Confidence, not arrogance, but real confidence, the kind that comes from knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. Kindness is attractive, so are skills. Not the kind of skills that make you look good on Instagram, but the kind that make you a reliable, capable person. If you want to improve yourself, that's great, but do it for you, not because some random guy on TikTok said you're worthless unless you make a certain amount of money. Focus on building a life that makes you happy, not one that checks someone else's boxes. And please, for the love of everything, stop taking advice from dudes who wouldn't even let you sit at their table. That's not high value behavior. That's just insecurity.